Feel a little bit better knowing it may be going to you now.
One boy, 12, and they're all swimmers, and they play lacrosse, and I don't see enough of them. Right.
Well,
The last couple of years.
It's not 7, even though that said so, but I guess we'll start. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my watch says it's not 7, but the clock over there says 7:01, so we will open the meeting. Welcome all to the meeting of the Harwich Board of Appeals on this February 23rd, opened at 7:01 by the official clock. The purpose of this meeting is to hear and decide applications before the Board of Appeals, which have been brought pursuant to the bylaw of the town of Harwich and the Massachusetts Zoning Enabling Act. Thank you, Attorney Kroll. And I will start by asking the members of the board to introduce themselves, please.
Hi, I'm Brian Sullivan.
James Armstrong.
Al Donahue?
Dave Ryer.
Tim Bailey.
Hi, David Nunaway.
Okay, we will start with our first case. If I can have our clerk, Mr. Donahue, call that case, please.
Okay, case number 2022-00. This is a continued case from January 26th of '22. Joseph T. Burrell, trustee for the Karen A. Burrell, trustee of the 38 Pleasant Road Realty Trust, through their agent, attorney Andrew Singer, have applied for special permit and add a second floor onto a pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling. The application pursuant to the Code of Town of Harwich, 325-54, as set forth in MGL Chapter 40A, Section 6, and the property is located at 38 Pleasant Road, map 4, parcel W1-2A in the RH1 zoning district.
Okay, I don't see Attorney Singer. Is anyone here on case 2022-00? No, okay, let's skip this case, and I'll go through and see if I can find the notice. I thought it was continued till this meeting, but maybe it got continued till March. I'll have to go find the letter from him. Do you remember?
I don't know.
Okay, I've got it. So let's skip this case. We'll go on to case 2022-08, and we'll come back to this at the end of the meeting.
All right, case 2022-08, David R. Prickett and Colin Monahan, through their agent, attorney William Kroll, have applied for special permit to add a garage, master bedroom, expansion onto a pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling. The application is pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich, 325-54, as set forth as MGL Chapter 48, Section 6. Property is located at 100 Deep Hole Road, map 25, parcel N3-4 in the RM zoning district.
Okay, Attorney Kroll, if you could introduce yourself for the record, please, and who's at the table with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney William Kroll from Harwich Port, and I have seated beside me one of the co-owners, David Prickett, for the hearing this evening regarding 100 Deep Hole Road, which is at the corner of Deep Hole Road and Spindrift Way, as shown on the plan. And the petition is to...
Wait, let me stop before we go on. I forgot.
Thank you.
Voting on the
As did I.
case. Yes, we will have Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Donahue, Mr. Bailey, and Mr. Nunnally, I guess.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, sorry for the interruption.
That's all right. So the lot is at the corner of Deep Hole Road and Spindrift Way, as shown on the plan, and the petitioner is seeking to add a one-car garage on the southerly side towards Spindrift, and as well as a master bedroom, now called a primary bedroom, on the westerly side of the existing single-family residence. In reviewing the plan, you can see that on the northerly side, where the bedroom addition would be, The dwelling is currently 17.6 feet, so it's non-conforming. And the new bedroom addition would be 17.2 feet, so just 0.4 feet, maybe 4 inches, 5 inches closer to the lot line. On the, in all other respects, it's compliant as far as that bedroom addition is concerned. With regard to the one-car garage on the southerly side, you can see at the corner there that it's a corner lot, and the existing dwelling is 23.8 feet from the parallel lot line. It's even less from the arc lot line, which shows just to the right of that 23.8, it says 23.1. So the closest distance is 23.1. So it's also pre-existing non-conforming because the current setback is 25. So we're in a Gale case situation, both on the northerly side and on the southerly side, and with the proposed one-car garage addition towards Spindrift Way, not towards an immediate abutter, the proposed garage would be 6.6 feet from the lot line, not necessarily from the gravel, but from the lot line, or I should say from the asphalt of the way. Usually those ways are paved 32 feet wide, so you've got 4 feet on either side from the boundary line to the asphalt. So it appears even further than the lot line itself is. In any event, pursuant to the findings of the Gale case, this board, by special permit, can allow for an intensification of existing nonconformities. So we've got a nonconformity at 23.8, 23.1 on that southeasterly side, and we want to intensify that to 6.6. And you might say, well, that's a lot, but we're going towards a street. We're not going towards an abutting residence. We're going towards a street. And we're far enough back so we're not affecting the sight line, anything of that nature. And it's a one-car garage, not a two-car garage. So the petitioner has looked everywhere on the lot, obviously, to where would this work the best, and that's where it would work the best for the petitioners, for the property owners, is on the southerly side for a one-car garage, and then the addition of the bedroom on the westerly side. The building commissioner, of course, issued a denial letter. Mr. Eidman and the building commissioner now prefer to call it a referral letter. It's more positive than saying denied. It's referred now to you folks for your discretion and your approval. So we're asking for a special permit, and our argument is that the bedroom addition and the garage addition would not constitute a substantial increase in noise, fumes, traffic, odors, congestion, and the like, and would not constitute a substantial detriment to the entire neighborhood. Again, not just an immediate abutter, not just some effect on the neighborhood as far as valuation or impact, but it has to be a substantial impact, a substantial increase, a substantial detriment to the entire neighborhood. And we would argue that we meet that standard and ask that you grant the special permit this evening. Thank you.
Brian, questions?
Yeah, Attorney, I agree that where the bedroom is and so forth, that it's the intensification is not any type of detriment to the neighborhood. I would like to hear the opinions of the other board members as well on this, but regarding on Spindrift Way and where the garage is, we're going to, from the, on 22, 23 feet, about 16 feet closer to the road. And I don't consider that a minor intensification. To me, it's substantial, and there's no other properties on Spindrift which are somewhere near close to the frontage or, you know, on that road. Now, I do agree that there's no detriment to visual sight on traffic. You know, I don't believe it's gonna cause any type of harm, but I'd like to hear the opinions of the other board members regarding that substantial move towards a side street. Okay, so that's, you know, other than that, I'm fine with the project, but I'm gonna reserve my opinion as far as how I'm gonna vote regarding, you know, look, that drive, I mean, you know, the one-car garage there, because I am concerned that, I think as far as detrimental, it's a change in how the whole neighborhood looks going down that road. Nobody else is that close, so I do believe it gives a site change to that neighborhood, and it may in fact, you know, be detrimental. Any comments, any further comments on that?
I did acknowledge in my presentation that going from 23.8 to 6.6, that you might consider that a lot.
I know.
My comment is that, again, it's towards a way, it's not towards an abutter, and it has to be not just a detriment that it doesn't look like the rest of the road does, it has to be a substantial detriment, usually looking at valuation, will it draw down the values of the other properties in the neighborhood? And I would argue that it doesn't. Is it a
Yeah, I
substantial?
would agree with that. I'm
Okay,
not-
and so that's my argument, is that it's not a substantial, it's a change of 16 feet, no question. Those are the facts, but does that create a substantial impact on the neighborhood? Does that constitute a substantial detriment to the neighborhood, to the values of the neighborhood, to the enjoyment of the neighborhood? And I would argue that, no, it doesn't, because of where they've placed it. It doesn't have in my opinion, doesn't have a substantial detriment to the neighborhood because of the placement of it.
Jamie?
No questions, thank you.
Al?
I just wanted to add something for the record here. We received a letter from a Maureen A. Looney. She has sent to the chairman and the board. She's the owner of record for 104 Deep Hole Road, and appreciate the opportunity to submit. She is unable to be here. Regarding this case, she's concerned with regard to the minimum setback requirements in order to expand the residents' primary bedrooms. If granted, the expanded area of the residence would be within the required 20 feet, and the setback along the other side border would be shared by property on our line. She also has that's her statement, that's all she had to say about it. But she also has a statement for the next one. Other than that, no, I have no questions.
I noticed on the plan the existing showers to be relocated, but I don't see where it's going.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
again, Dave Prickett here, one of the co-owners of the home. The intent was to relocate the shower from it's currently like right next to the bulkhead door. It should show, there's a little rectangular outline that shows it inside the proposed master bedroom addition, and then it's just moving to the west.
Oh, okay, so that's, okay.
So there's an
That's the
existing outdoor
relocated
shower there.
It has been
That's
relocated.
the relocated spot there,
Yeah,
okay,
it's there. Could
okay.
have been better detail on the plan, sorry about that.
That's okay. Yes, I guess that's all. Tim?
I have no questions, but same as him, interested in the discussion about the 6 feet, or 16 feet, closer to the spindrift.
I have no questions.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this application? Hearing no one, I'll move to close the public hearing.
May I make a comment further before you close it? 'Cause I believe I'm not supposed to speak after you close it.
Exactly.
And I would just remind the board that a positive vote takes 4 out of the 5 members. If it's just 3 to 2, we still lose. It's a supermajority under the statute. we have to have 4 in favor to get a special permit, either 4 or 5. 3 to 2 in favor, looks like we win, but we lost. Thank you.
Okay, I'll move again to close the public hearing. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, second from Dave Nunnally. Public hearing is now closed. Discussion by the board. Well, I'm not gonna vote, but I do think this project meets the requirements of the bylaw and the Gale case for a special permit and the Deirdre case. It is going to intensify one or more existing nonconformities, but will not create any new nonconformity. And in my opinion, it will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structures. And to Mr. Sullivan's point, and I guess Mr. Bailey too, yes, we are moving closer to the road, to Spindrift Way there. But I happen to agree with Attorney Crowell's position. I've said it many times. To me, the test is the detriment to the neighborhood. What are we looking at? It's got to either interfere with the enjoyment of the properties by the other neighbors, not just the adjoining neighbor, but the neighborhood, or it's got to decrease the value of the existing properties. And I don't see that this kind of project would do that. My personal feeling is there'd be very few projects that would do that when they come to us. They're usually well thought out, we have plans made, and I think the general trend is that the neighborhoods are being improved by the projects that come before us. Now, that's not to say that we don't have a case that will not meet the requirement. We might, I'm still waiting to find it. But I think this case meets the requirements for a special permit, and I would urge the voting members to approve it. Any other comments from anybody else on the board?
So regarding the intensification, because, and I do agree that it's not gonna change the values in the neighborhood, all right? It doesn't have any sightline issues. It's not abutting a property, right? Even though it's that substantially, even though it's not an intensification, it's a step up, that it would still qualify under the Gale case for approval.
Well, it's intensification, if you look at the...
Well, I know it's
the case,
intensification, but is it, not, we generally look at intensification as, 3 or 4 feet. This is really moving it out. Generally, what I've seen so far, it hasn't always been that major. And that's why I just want to raise the issue and want to get feedback as I learn.
Right.
At the same time.
And we've had this discussion before, but when you go back to the statute and the cases, Gale and Deirdre, the test is, will the project have a substantial detrimental effect on the neighborhood? Not, is it gonna increase by X number of feet
Right.
or height or whatever, the intensification is. It's will it have a substantial detrimental effect on the neighborhood? That's the bottom line. And if it doesn't, they're entitled to a special permit under the
Okay.
statute and the cases. So, any other comments from the board members?
Just had a question. The neighbor with the email, she was objecting to the bedroom and not the garage? Is that? Yeah.
I was gonna read the rest of that, because she's also talking about the next, property.
But she was objecting to the bedroom. That's what
Yeah,
she
she
stated.
was. She's concerned about
You're concerned about the noise.
the
wasn't
noise
she?
that it may cause, with regard to the neighborhood, and, noise being because of excessive number of people who are going to be there, and she mentions, Deep Hole Road at Red River Beach.
The bedroom, right?
It's an
Right.
expansion of an existing.
But I think the board would require the 2 standard conditions, construction time
Yeah.
and the new general,
Yeah.
which should satisfy
I just wanna get that in.
that lady's concerns.
Sure.
She was concerned about construction, dust, and traffic during the summertime.
Yeah.
So with that, I will entertain a motion in this case.
Understand. Labor Day. Yeah, no worries.
All right, the motion in this case In case number 2022, we haven't taken a vote on this, though.
Yeah, 2022-08.
Right, but we haven't taken a vote on it yet.
No, but we're gonna have the motion, then we're gonna, we voted to close the hearing, so we'll have the
Right.
vote on the motion.
Okay.
Right.
David R. Prickett, excuse me, I'll just start all over again. 2022-08, David R. Prickett and Rowan Monahan, through their agent William Crowe, have been granted a special permit to add a garage and master bedroom expansion onto the pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling. The board hereby grants that permit, as I had said, and by the requirements of the Gale and Diedrich cases, there is no residential or excuse me. But in any event, it's, the permit will be granted with regard to the property in a congested area. There shall be no demolition, exterior construction, or new landscaping during the period of June 30 to Labor Day of any year. During the life of the project,
No, that won't apply, just the last one.
you think they've got land?
I don't think there's enough room there to park on site.
Right.
So I think it's just the last one there,
Oh, all
the
right.
last condition.
It is a condition of this approval that a violation of the terms and conditions of the special permit may be enforced as violation of the Howard zoning bylaw pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 7, and the Howard zoning bylaw as these may be amended from time to time.
Could I have a second on that motion, please? Second for Mr. Bailey. Discussion by the board on the motion. All in favor of granting the special permit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, special permit granted. Good luck on your project, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
I don't need it. Yeah, no, I
Spent a lot of money.
spent a lot of money on that, sure. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay. Okay, you can call our next case, please, Al.
All right, case number 2022-09, David R. Prickett and Brownwind Monahan, through their agent, Attorney William Crowe, applied for a special permit for garage, mudroom, and office addition onto a pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling. The applications pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich 32554 are set forth in MGL Chapter 48, Section 6. The property is located at 24 Crowell Road, map 25, parcel N8-1 in the RM zoning district.
Okay, we're gonna have voting on this case. Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Donahue, Mr. Nunnally, and Mr. Beasley. Attorney Kroll, if you could again introduce yourself for the record, please, and your client with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney William Kroll, again representing David Prickett and Bronwyn Monahan, co-owners of the subject property, which is across the street from the last petition. Just, we're trying to cut down on mileage and gas for the members on the site visits, so
Yeah, very convenient.
do what we can to help. Yes, Crowell Road. My grandparents, Fred and Helen Crowell, developed that subdivision. So that is why it's called Crowell Road, not after me, but after them. Again, a corner lot. This one, I think, I'm hoping, Mr. Sullivan, you'll have less issue with. We are,
Well, I'm on my own separate table here. You know, they're moving me out the door.
we're meeting the setback requirement from Depot Road at 25 feet with the addition. It's a proposed addition for a garage, again, a mudroom, and an office above. We meet the setbacks from both roads, and the issue in this case was this site coverage. The building coverage is remaining conforming. It was 15.2%, it will be 17.7, but still below the 20% maximum. The site coverage, the maximum is 35%, so the existing coverage is 37.4, so we're already over that. We're in a Gale case situation, we're pre-existing non-conforming, and we're going up ever so slightly to 38.6, so less than 1% increase. So the reason for that is that there's not too much new structure there with the addition beyond what was already on the site. There's not that much more site coverage due to the addition for that reason as well. So it's just less than 1% increase, but we have to be here because we're going up by a little less than 1%. So any increase is a Gale case situation, and it's an intensification of a pre-existing nonconformity. You've had a chance to review the plot plan. The referral letter from the building inspector just addresses the site coverage issue. And so our argument would be that the resulting addition would not result in any substantial increase in noise, odors, fumes, congestion, traffic, or the like, and no substantial detriment to the entire neighborhood. We ask you to grant the special permit for this project as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
Thank you. You know, the only question I had, and it has nothing to do with the approval here, I was trying to figure out the frontage and looking at the map, and maybe you can give me a lesson on the plans here, but we got three numbers, 84 plus feet, 48, and 86. and
Yes.
That's 219.
Mm-hmm.
And the application shows, again, it's 122.
I saw that.
I'm just trying to figure that one out.
Well, I'll have to pass the buck to Mr. Prickett on that. I did not prepare this application. I saw that, but that figure, as you acknowledge, is not relevant to
Right, this is my own,
the request. It
own
should
learning
have
factor.
been, in my opinion, it should have been the total of those three.
thank you. So it should have been 219 and some change.
Right, because if we were short, like, if you just had if we were short with the 86.05 on Depot, you want to be able to add to that 48.75. And if that doesn't take you over 150, then you want to keep going to the 84.55. If you had to meet the 150 today, if that was a vacant lot and you wanted to build on it and you had to have 150, you want to add all those three together.
Yeah, I just want to point out that I didn't think you were short regarding the requirement for the 150. And I just,
It's nice to know that you're reading the petitions in great detail.
well, I'm trying to help you out here.
Thank you.
Other than that, and speaking from the site coverage committee, I'm okay with that. Thank you.
Jamie?
No questions, thanks.
Al?
I'm just going to enter to the record here with regard to the health department. They have reviewed the special permit proposal to add a garage mudroom and an office to pre-existing non-conforming single-family home at 24 Crow Road. The septic system was designed and installed in '96 to accommodate 4 bedrooms. The system passed Title V in July of 18, and all required setbacks have been maintained on the system. The floor plan submitted depicts a proposal to add an office above the new garage privacy is eliminated through an open rail at the top of the stairs. The new office space shall not be used for sleeping or eliminate privacy, as it would then be considered a bedroom, and the septic system would not be upgraded. Throw it in there, that's all.
Sure. We're all over it. The previous petition, they were, had no problem with. Here, it's because they have space above the garage, and so the Board of Health wants to make sure that's not being used for sleeping purposes, and they say the open rail makes it, takes away the privacy. So, I'm sure when they approve the, plans, they're going to put their stamp on saying not to be used for sleeping purposes.
Yeah.
So even if you're not off at your desk, Dave.
My wife will just be happy that I'm not in the house.
My only comment is I think we need the same two conditions. It's right across the street, congested neighborhood, beach traffic. Tim,
I have no questions.
Dave,
No questions.
Joe.
No questions.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this application? Hearing no one, I'll move to close the public hearing. Can I have a second, please?
So moved.
Second from Al. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed.
Case-
I'll entertain a motion on the case.
All right, case number 2022-09, David R. Prickett and Baldwin Monahan, through their agent Attorney Cole, have been granted a special permit for a garage, mudroom, and office addition on a pre-existing non-conforming single-family home. The proposed project will intensify one or more existing nonconformities, will not create any new nonconformities, will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structures. All work shall be performed in accordance with the plans submitted with this application. There shall be no demolition or exterior work or landscaping during the period of June 30 to Labor Day of any year. Is there enough? No.
Just the last one.
Yeah, okay. It is a condition of this approval that a violation of the terms and conditions of the special permit may be enforced as a violation of the Harwich zoning bylaw as pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaw as these may be amended from time to time.
Any discussion by the board on the motion? I concur with the statement that it meets the requirements of the bylaw, the Gale case, the Deirdre case, and I believe it's proper for the board to grant a special permit.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, did I hear a second to that motion? I don't think so.
No. there
Oh,
was-
I'm sorry. Second, okay. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. All right, see, I need someone to keep an eye on me because we don't have a secretary tonight who usually picks that up. Thank you, Attorney.
You're welcome.
Any comments from the board on the motion? No, the voting members, all in favor of granting this petitioner a special permit? Aye, 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 5. Granted unanimously. Good luck on this project, sir.
It's gonna be busy.
Take care,
I think my neighbors will do that.
Yeah,
Make them
yeah.
retire.
Right.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
You got the board over here for a moment.
Okay. We call our next case, please, Al.
Case number 2022-10, Casey Shaughnessy et al. And Kylie Shaughnessy have applied for special permit to construct a second-floor addition on a pre-existing, non-conforming, single-family dwelling. The application is pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich, 32554, set forth in MGL Chapter 48, Section 6. The property is located at 96 Riverside, map 3, parcel K2A-A, in the RH-1 zoning district.
Okay, gentlemen, welcome. If you could please identify yourselves.
Good evening, I'm William Ashmore with King Tide.
Casey Shaughnessy, homeowner.
Okay, thank you, and present your petition if you would.
Hi, I'm here with Mr. Shaughnessy. Jack Keogh and his fiancee are also here. The project is an addition of a second floor to add 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and accommodate a growing family. The Shaughnessy's and Keoghs recently purchased the home. The entire project will end up creating a 5-bedroom, 4.5-bathroom home. The septic is already installed and in place for the growth in bedrooms. There's absolutely no change in footprint, no new nonconformity, and we believe no substantial detriment to a growing neighborhood. The project has 2 letters of support currently. We actually have an abutter in the room, Mr. Gerasi and his wife. We ask that this special permit be granted.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll have voting on this case. Let's see, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Donahue, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Bailey, and Mr. Nunnally will be the voting members. Questions, Brian?
First of all, I thought the colors in the house with the boat colors and that shingling how it was done looked great.
What's that?
He likes the house color.
The house color there. The egress out of the basement, is that still gonna remain to be the current bulkhead?
It's not a bulkhead, there's actually a window there. It's like an egress window,
Okay, all right, okay.
so no bulkhead.
Other than that, I have no other questions.
Jamie?
No questions, thanks.
Al?
I'm just curious about the deck off the side of the building. That's on the south side of the house?
Yeah, well, there's like I'm sorry, which one? There's a deck both front and back of that home.
The one I'm talking about, I think, is on the south side of the house.
So the south side, that dotted line is actually a covered roof that is kind of an eyebrow, you'd call it, so you could walk from one side of the house to the other in the rain without getting wet.
So you're considering the deck with the 10 by 20 by 5 inches, that's right behind that?
Say it one more time?
All right. The covered deck, which is...
Oh, yeah. Are you talking on, which plan are you looking at, sir?
Looking at A1.
So the house, as you look at it, the south side is essentially, north is up on this plan, south is down. So are you talking about the one on the west side? What?
Well,
I think you're looking at this one, Al. It's not identified as a deck
okay,
on this plan. I think it's that one there.
yeah.
Because you see that the other 2 are on each side there.
So there is no, it's on the, is that on the east side of the property, or is that the,
I'm sorry?
I haven't got that in front of me.
Oh, the site plan?
Yeah, I have it here somewhere.
So if you're looking at the plan straight on with the readable letters, north is up, south is down, west,
Right.
left, right.
I assume that that's just a little step up into your front door? Is that what that is? Or into a door there?
Yes.
Okay.
That's just to access another egress on the side of the house.
All right, what I was thinking of, this deck is going to have a roof over it that we're talking about, which is on the riverside. It's on the property, as we look at the diagram, it's on the left-hand side.
There's no, on the second floor,
Oh,
there's
the
no.
the wood deck is where the grill is?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay.
So essentially, there's an eyebrow that runs around the property. The addition is just the footprint, to make it easy, of the basement floor plan minus the crawl space. So if you look at A2, you could really see how we're rising off just the foundation.
I have no further questions, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There's nothing indicated on the plan, but where's the parking on the site here?
On the site plan, right off Riverside Drive, it says existing parking area, right under where it says lot area, 11.64 square feet.
Okay, so that, what is it, a driveway, gravel, or
It's actually gravel.
gravel? Okay, thank you. Tim?
I have no questions.
Dave?
Thank you.
No questions.
Joe? Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this application? Hearing no one, I'll move to close the public hearing. Could I have a second, please? Second, Tim Bailey. All in favor? Closing the public hearing, the
Aye.
voting members, 5. Okay, public hearing is now closed. I will entertain a motion on the case, please.
All right, case number 2022-10, Casey Shaughnessy et al., and Kay Lee Shaughnessy have applied for a special, have been granted a special permit to construct a second-floor addition pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling. As proposed, the project will intensify one or more existing nonconformities, will not create any new nonconformities, and will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. All work shall be performed in accordance with the plans submitted with the application. There will be no demolition, exterior construction, or new landscaping during the period of June 30 to Labor Day in any year. It is a condition of this approval that the violation of the terms and conditions of this special permit may be enforced as a violation of the Harwich zoning bylaws pursuant to MGL 40A, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaw, as these may be amended from time to time.
Could I have a second on the motion, please, from one of the voting members? Mr. Armstrong seconds the motion. Discussion by the board on the motion. I'm not voting, but I think it meets the requirements of the Gale, the Deirdre cases, and the bylaw. I would urge the board to grant the special permit. I think it looks like a nice project. I'll call for a vote on the case among the 5 voting members. All in favor? Aye, 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 aye. Special permit granted unanimously. Good luck on your project.
May I make a comment with regard to your egress window? You obviously have children.
Yes.
Here's a suggestion. Whatever it's worth, when you show the children how to get out that egress window, make sure you have show them where they should go once they step out that egress window.
Absolutely. She's only 5 weeks old right now, so I have some preparation done. Yeah, but when that day does come, she'll be ready. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Good luck, folks.
Have a great night.
We'll get back to you in 4 years, remind you about that.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Stop by.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go with you, I was a former inspector. I appreciate that.
Okay, we can move on to our next case.
All right, case number, let's see, 2022-011, John D. Hour and Barbara O. Hour, trustee of the Seabreeze Realty Trust, through the agent, Attorney William Crowe, have applied for special permit or in the alternative, a variance to build a pergola and an outdoor open kitchen along with a fire pit and a walkway on the lot with a pre-existing non-conforming single family. The application is pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich 32554, as set forth in MGL Chapter 40A, Section 6, and if necessary, Section 10. The property is located at 652 Route 28, Map 15, Parcel C5-A2 and -1. In the RL zoning district.
Who voted on the last case? Who were the voting members? Dave and Tim, okay, thanks. Okay, voting on this case, we will have Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Donahue, Mr. Nunnally, and Mr. Beasley.
Mr. Chairman, if I may add to this, the senior health agent, I have reviewed the special permit application to build a pergola and an open-door kitchen together with a new fire pit and walkway. The proposed shall be connected to a septic system with benefit of plumbing permit. I have reached out to the state and local plumbing inspector for guidance regarding the requirements for the covering the outdoor sink. The applicant is proposing to cover, a cover on the sink, but a more permanent structure may be required, such as a roof covering.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, Attorney William Kroll, representing the petitioner. The petitioner has worked that out with the Board of Health.
Okay. If you could just introduce yourself for the
Yes.
record, Attorney Kroll, and who's with you at the table, please.
Sure. Attorney William Kroll from Harwich Port, and I have seated with me John Auer, who is, along with his wife Barbara, the owners of the property in question. John is also an owner of Robert Auer Construction in Harwich, a longtime business here. And this is a beautiful property, as you know, across from Witchmere Harbor. And what the Hours would like to do is to build an open outdoor kitchen, the fire pit and a walkway, and a pergola, as shown on the plot plan by J.C. Engineering, and the building and elevation plans by JFF Design Architects and Planners that were submitted with the petition. The pergola and the kitchen will be 15 feet from the westerly lot line. But you'll notice also that there is already a cottage that's been there a very long time, that's only 6 inches or so off of that lot line. So we've got a pre-existing nonconformity along that westerly lot line due to that existing cottage.
And what is that building, Attorney Kroll?
It's a cottage with bedroom
It's a
and...
bedroom, yeah, a bedroom with a bathroom.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
And it's 0.3 feet from the westerly lot line. So the building inspector, building commissioner has referred this to the board due to the site coverage issue, that the maximum site coverage is 35% in that zone. The current site coverage is 35.1. This project would increase it by less than 1%, 0.07%, to 35.8. So less than 1% increase in site coverage. To construct the pergola and the outside kitchen, the petitioners contend that the construction of the same would not constitute a substantial detriment to the entire neighborhood and would not result in a substantial increase in noise, odors, fumes, congestion, traffic, or the like. It would not constitute a nuisance to the neighborhood, and ask that you grant the special permit. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Brian,
Oh, did you mention who's voting in this case?
who's voting?
He did.
Oh, you did, okay, I apologize.
You,
I
Jamie?
didn't mean not to pay attention, Chairman, I apologize.
More volume, what?
I apologize, I didn't pay attention when you announced the who's
Okay,
voting.
okay. Dave Nunley and Joe Beasley.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't see where there's, I feel it meets the Gale case. The only, their point was, again, just semantics, is it's, down here is the site coverage at 30%, not 35 on the application, just a thought there, okay?
Where are you seeing that? On the
Oh,
application?
wait a minute, excuse me, I'm looking at site coverage.
Yes,
At the site coverage on the application says 30%
correct,
is required by law.
right.
I thought you mentioned 35 in your presentation, that's all.
I did, and you're absolutely right, and I shouldn't do anything from memory.
That's fine, I
I
just,
should have been looking at that when I
just checking,
mentioned
but
it.
it's,
Thank you.
the existing's 35.1, so it's not going up.
We're a team, Mr. Sullivan. Thanks for having my back on that.
You're welcome. It's, no, I think it's a beautiful piece of property, and I don't see any issues with the application.
Jamie?
No questions, thanks.
Al?
I have no questions, just an observation. You got plenty of wood for the winter, huh?
I do. I do.
Question, I didn't actually drive in, I looked at it from Route 28 there, but it looks like you have plenty of room in there to get all the construction vehicles on site,
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
and I'm not sure, I'm not gonna vote, but the board can discuss whether we need the time requirement. It's not a huge project, so it shouldn't be too noisy or dusty, so personally, I would be okay
I wouldn't think so.
getting all the construction vehicles a condition they park on site. Obviously, you can't park on 28.
We got the church next door, unless they're storing their services, nobody's even gonna notice it. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, that'd be great.
Kim?
Thank you.
I have no questions. Looks like a-
Dave?
No questions.
Joe?
No questions.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this application? Hearing no one, I'll move to close the public hearing. If I could have a second.
Second.
Okay, second from Joe Beasley. Vote on the motion from the voting members there, the 5 voting members, to close the public hearing. Okay, all in favor, public hearing is closed. I will entertain a motion on this case.
case number 2022-011, John D. Hour and Barbara O. Hour, trustees of the Seabreeze Realty Trust, through their agent attorney William Kroll, have been granted a special permit. Let me see. Granted a special permit, pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling, 652 Route 28, map 15, parcel C2-A1, -1 in the RL zoning district.
Oh, wait, make it, to build a pergola and outdoor kitchen, so you gotta,
Oh,
that's
I
the
left that
purpose
out.
of it, yeah.
Okay. Might as well get the purpose out of it. To build a pergola and an outdoor open kitchen along with a fire pit and walkway. The rest of it I've already covered. As proposed, the project will intensify one or more existing nonconformities and will not create any new nonconformities and will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. All work shall be performed in accordance with the plans submitted in this application. There are no conditions with regard to the property being built.
No, we need them to, second condition.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
All construction parked on site, and
Oh,
then
okay,
the last
yeah.
one.
Okay, during the, okay, it is granted for the following conditions. During the life of the project, all construction vehicles shall be parked on the property and not on any public street. It is a condition of this approval that the violation terms and conditions of the special permit may be enforced as violation of the Harwich zoning bylaws pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaws, as these may be amended from time to time.
Discussion by the board. Oh, well, first we need a second. Second on the motion? Second from Mr. Sullivan. Discussion by the board on the motion. I'm not gonna vote, but once again, I think it meets the requirements of the Gale and Deirdre cases and the bylaw. I think it's another nice project, and certainly will not be any more detrimental to the neighborhood than what's there right now. So with that, I'll call for a vote from the voting members. All in favor of Mr. Donahue's motion?
Aye.
5-0, special permit granted unanimously. Good luck on your project, Mr. Howard.
Take it.
So on this case, since it's an amendment to the existing special permit, we'll have voting, Mr. Donahue, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Bailey, me, because we voted on the original special permit, and Mr. Armstrong, one of our regular members. So those will be the voting members. Attorney Kroll, if you could just once more introduce yourself for the record, please.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm just checking to make sure we have the right members voting.
Yep, no, that's, I had to do the same to look and see who did it last time.
Right, Mr. Murphy's not here, so
Mr.
Mr.
Murphy is-
Armstrong's voting in his
I
place.
think in Florida. The other four of us are here, and Mr. Armstrong is here.
Okay, so I'm Attorney William Kroll from Harwich Port, representing the petitioners, Peter and Corey Latanzi. They were unable to be here this evening. However, they were part of the Zoom meeting that we had last year to approve the special permit to demolish and replace the pre-existing non-conforming structure. And that was approved by this board, and then it came up that the petitioners wanted to modify the shed. And the thinking of the building commissioner was that since the shed is pre-existing non-conforming as to setbacks, then it would require action by this board to accomplish that modification to the plan. The original plan showed an existing shed. The petitioner did not ask to demolish and replace it. So that's why we're here, is for the shed. And asking that the board grant a special permit for the same reasons, basically, same reasoning as before. The referral letter from the building commissioner said that the proposed shed would be within the required property line setback. So we have a case where there's an existing nonconformity, and whether it's Gale case or not, it's our bylaw says that if you have an existing structure, that you can modify that as long as you're not coming any closer to the lot line than the existing structure. So I think it complies with the bylaw and the Gale case, and there would be no substantial increase in noise, odors, fumes, congestion, traffic, or the like. It would not create a nuisance. It's going to be more aesthetically appealing. It would not constitute a substantial detriment to the neighborhood. And I'm told by the builder that if we didn't demolish the shed and change the topography of it, that it could result in a water problem on the site. So it needs to be demolished, raised up a little bit, and the contour will be better for water flow on the site. So we'd ask that you grant the special permit to modify the previous decision, case number 2021-14, as per the building and elevation plans by Thomas Moore Design Company that shows the shed on the exact same footprint, but it would also have a half bath in it and a rinsing station outside of it, on the outside. But the existing shed is in pretty dilapidated condition, needs to be demolished, replaced, and the new shed will aesthetically fit in with the aesthetics of the new residence that's being built. So it'll look better in the long run. Thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, thank you. Attorney Kroll, the we're calling it a shed, and I need to get some education here, so you can help me out, okay? But it's got a bathroom, and I'm assuming the space, the rest of the space, is this building gonna be insulated, heated, or have any type of electricity and insulation in it?
I would assume with the bathroom, it's probably going to have some electricity in it.
Because we got a shed now, which is a bare, all bare walls inside, a typical shed for tools and lawnmowers. And now we're going to, what I look at is more of an auxiliary building and habitable space. And I don't know really how that, I don't believe it impacts the application.
I don't believe it does either.
But, again, I don't know, I gotta just question in the board as far as if there's any additional view as habitable space and whether or not that room in there can be used as, sleeping.
Legally, it cannot, and if the Board of Health weighs in on it, I don't believe they have on this one, but if they did, I'm sure they would say not to be used for sleeping purposes and put their stamp on the plan. There's no ulterior motive. I think that because it's got a rinsing station on the outside, which would involve running water, that you might want to have a toilet on the inside, bathroom on the inside, so that if people are taking an outside shower, then they could use the bathroom on the inside, sink in the bathroom on the inside. But this is still designed to be a storage shed for those purposes. There's no heating element that I'm aware of shown on the plan, and
no insulation.
and no insulation that I saw on the plans by Mr. Moore.
Yeah, I just defer to the board as far as discussion if there's any impact to the approval based upon it. It looks like it's becoming habitable space instead of being a shed. Thank you, that's my only question.
All of your discretion involves, again, line drawing, when
I realize
it's a
that.
shed when is it not a shed anymore, and becomes a bedroom and a accessory, detached accessory structure. and
I mean,
all
I
that.
look at it as, I look at this as being an accessory building, which.
Doesn't
tell
have
you
a
the truth-
bedroom.
To tell you the truth, I would still be probably in favor of it, but I don't know if there's an impact on the approval or how we view the board, it becoming habitable space with a bathroom.
Heat,
It is an accessory building.
Right, but so there's no, so accessory building and shed are on the same, there's no difference. So we're saying,
Not under the bylaw
okay,
that I could see.
all right, that's,
I mean, there is a difference when they get into bedrooms, but not
that I realize, but,
just the bathroom
but,
that I could find.
but once you put heat in it, now it becomes habitable space, correct?
Okay, but again, I don't think habitable is covered under the bylaw,
All right, okay.
except in the extent that, if they're going into the setback, they've got to come and get a special permit.
Okay, all right.
So based off the bylaw, this shed does not have a washing station before, then they're adding that washing station, and because of that, they're putting the bathroom in. Does
I'm
that
assuming
follow-
it didn't have it before,
No,
but
it doesn't.
the existing shed does not have a bathroom.
And that has
or
no effect
rinsing.
on it, that's fine under the bylaw.
as far as I could see, yeah. There's,
The designer, Tom Moore, has also stamped the floor plan. If you look at that stamp in the diagonal, it says not to be used for sleeping purposes.
okay, it didn't come through on mine, you can't read it. It just says for the Board of Health, with the signature line above it. Is that the one we're looking at? Yeah, I've got it. Oh, it's there, I was looking at the top. Yeah, not to be used for sleeping purposes.
Right.
Okay.
Part of the petition. And see, the Board of Health has signed it at the top, and I'm sure that's their stamp. They put it on already.
That's where I was looking for the statement up there.
Right.
Where they signed it. Okay, I see. Jamie?
I agree, it meets the bylaws. It does concern me, the expansion and the change. There certainly is not a kitchen in there or anything. There is no heat. But there is a difference, I agree.
Yeah,
Between what is there and what is going in. But on the other hand, I do agree that it does fit the bylaws, so, but it's a concern. Oh, yeah,
Al?
No, just a comment, I think Prairie Valley Golf Course has about 6 of these around the golf course that would fit the same description. I don't have any further questions.
Most golf courses do these days, don't they?
I guess,
And they're not habitable dwellings, they're not, they're
Would
just,
hope not.
I guess I don't see the issue with the
I don't.
bathroom and the
Understand.
shed.
I appreciate that.
I don't see, now, if it was bedrooms, then we've got some provisions in the bylaw we'd have to take a look at, but it's just bathroom, and it's been stamped by the Board of Health, and if, they elect to sleep in it, well, then it's a Board of Health violation, and they're gonna have to sort that out with the Board of Health. Tim?
If I may, if we were petitioning this, the town to have a detached residential accessory structure with a bedroom or bedrooms, we'd be in front of the planning board. That's their jurisdiction. We would not be here. So this
Well-
is the building commissioner acknowledging that we're not asking for that. We're not in front of the planning board, we're in front of you folks because of the setback issue, the zoning setback issue. That's why we're here. Board of Health has already put their stamp on it. The building inspector has already said, go to the Board of Appeals just for the setback.
Okay, no, I appreciate that, but we've had any number of applications come in which are accessory with bedrooms to us, not the planning.
I understand that. I think that's where, that happens when you have something that's too close to the lot lines already. But if you otherwise meet the setbacks, then I've had several just go straight
Okay,
to the planning
If you
board.
meet the setback, right, you wouldn't need to come to us.
Right.
Agreed.
Okay.
Tim?
I have no questions.
Dave?
Questions?
Joe?
No questions.
Anyone in the public like to speak to this application? Hearing no one, I'll move to close the public hearing.
So
Can I have
moved.
a second, please? Second. I think on this, vote to close the public hearing, all in favor? Voting
Aye.
members, fine, okay, public hearing is closed. On this one, I think the only condition we need is that where's my note? That the conditions in the special permit granted in case 2021-14 will be made in effect.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is, I've got it written down here. Because we've already got conditions in this special permit. This is a modification, so we want to not do a grant of a special permit, but grant of a modification to the special permit issued in case 2021-14.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Chairman.
with all of that, I will entertain a motion on the case.
All right, case number 2022-12, Peter P. and Corey A. Lantisi Jr. through their agent, Attorney William Kroll, have applied for a modification to a ZBA special permit, which was issued on 2021-14.
No, that's the case.
I'm sorry, in the case of 2021-14, in order to demolish, replace an existing non-conforming shed, same footprint. What else want me to add to that?
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The proposed project will intensify one or more existing nonconformings, will not create any new nonconformities, will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. All work shall be performed in accordance with the plans submitted with this application. You know, the addition, during the life of the, no,
No, we just need this here, Al.
yeah, the last.
This sentence there.
All conditions are special granted in case number 2021-14 shall remain in full force and effect. Let's see, it is a condition of this approval that the violation of the terms of the conditions of this permit, special permit, may be enforced as a violation of the Harwich zoning bylaw pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaw as these may be amended from time to time.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion by the board on the motion? I think it meets the requirements of the Gale case, the bylaw, and the Deirdre cases. I recommend we vote in favor of the special permit. Voting members, all in favor? Aye, aye. Special permit modification, I'm sorry, not a special permit. Special permit modification is granted.
Thank you very much.
All right, Attorney Crowe.
It will be very helpful in keeping this project moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's coming
already,
along.
Yeah.
already moving.
Looks bigger in person than I remembered it on the plans.
Oh, they always do.
They always do at the
They always
beginning.
do.
They look huge
Yeah.
every time, and then by the time they get the roof shingles on, the clapboards, they put the bushes around, you go, what are they worried about, you know?
Okay, so, come to our last case.
All righty. Case number 2022-13. Aaron T. Gingras, through his agent, Attorney William Kroll, has applied for a variance from the shape number requirement of section 325-18. The application is pursuant to the Code of Town of Harwich, chapter 325-54, set forth in MGL, chapter 48, section 10. The property is located at, that's an interesting question. One thing said 0 and Oak Street, and this address is 140 Oak Street.
Yeah.
Which are we? Anyway, the map 60, parcel R3 and RM zoning district.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney William Kroll representing Aaron Gingras, seated here to my right. With regard to this subject property, as I understand it, until you have a building permit granted, you don't have an address.
Right.
So when I submitted the petition, it was it's 0, and the assessors assessed it as 0. Now the building permit was submitted, application was submitted, denied, referred to you for this issue, and so I believe the building commissioner assigned it 140 Oak Street.
Okay, we will have voting on this case. Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Donahue, me, and Mr. Beasley.
All right, so we saved the best for last. Because this one is unique and different. I'm gonna walk you through I submitted the assessor's map, so I'm assuming you folks have had a chance to drive by the general area on Oak Street. It's right after Harwoods Avenue on the left, and it's before you get to Cranberry Valley, all right? And then this lot is part of a larger parcel. Mr. Gingras is a cranberry grower, and he owns the cranberry bog that is in the middle of this larger parcel to the north. And he and I spent 12 years getting the title through the land court together for all of this property. So this is a big project for him in terms of the cranberry bog, the title, and then this uniquely shaped parcel was part of the land court proceeding as well. So, we submitted plans for a modular home that Mr. Jingwitz wants to put on the property, and the short of it is, it meets all of the setback requirements. It meets the square footage requirements. It doesn't meet the shape factor, the shape number, that it's my understanding that one of the prior town planners, Mr., I want to say, David Spitz, thank you. I want to use the right word. David Spitz championed for other reasons other than what we have here. It was more for larger subdivisions, not for a single lot like this. So it doesn't really, the shape factor doesn't really fit this situation, is what I'm suggesting to you. So, I attached a copy of the bylaw to the petition for your reading pleasure. And it's less than clear to me what it's driving at. It used to be that you had to meet the circle requirement. So lots had to, you had to have two, I believe, concentric circles that were tangent to each other to meet the shape. And then that wasn't working, so Mr. Spitz then brought in this shape number. You had to have a shape number that was not more than 22.
22, yeah.
All right? So that's some of the background. But due to the unique shape of this lot that pinches significantly in the middle, its shape number is 59.6. So it's over. But it's because this is all one lot, and the portion of it to the north is all overgrown bog and wetland. And I point out that the wetland line on the plan that I submitted by Steve Haas comes just northerly of the proposed dwelling. So he can't put any dwelling on the north section of this lot. You say, well, why doesn't it go up there where it's a much bigger parcel? Because that's all wetland and overgrown bog. So, to my mind, if I ever had a case for a variance due to unique shape or topography, this is the one. You got a unique shape to this lot, and you've got unique topography, you got wetland, you got cranberry bog, you've got, when you're on Oak Street, this lot goes up right off of Oak Street, and Mr. Jingris is not looking to access off of Oak Street. He's looking to access off of Woody Glen Road, so that he would not be cutting a driveway down onto Oak Street. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. But he does have 40,100 square feet of upland and 25,003 square feet of wetland. If he could not build on this lot, then he's got all of that upland and wetland as unbuildable land. That's a significant hardship to him if he can't build a house on that lot. Significant financial hardship. So, as I said, we meet all of the other requirements from a zoning standpoint except for this shape factor. I've met with John Eidman, the town planner, about this also. And Mr. Eidman's opinion as well was that this shape factor was not designed for this type of situation. It was designed for subdivisions. So, with regard to meeting the terms of the statute, as I mentioned, if the board wants to grant a variance from the shape factor to allow Mr. Jingris to build this house, build a house on the lot, then our argument is that the board could grant this without any substantial detriment to the public good and without substantially derogating from the intent or the purpose of the bylaw. Because other than the shape factor, this would be a buildable lot for a single-family residence. So it seems to me that's not a substantial detriment to the public good. It's in a residential zone on a lot that would otherwise be buildable and meet the 40,000 square foot requirement, all the setbacks, et cetera, to meet all current requirements, except for the shape factor, and it would not derogate from the intent or purpose of the bylaw, because the bylaw intended to have single-family residences in that zone, in the RM zone. So, the end result is that Mr. Jingris is requesting a variance from the shape number to allow him to build the proposed single-family residence on this otherwise buildable lot, with the argument being it would not be a substantial detriment to the public good and would not be a substantial derogation from the intent or purpose of the bylaw, since the end result will be a single-family residence on a otherwise buildable lot in a residential zone. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Attorney Kroll. Brian?
Thank you. Yeah, I had to go into the regs to look up how shape factors are done, and quite frankly, I did not do the math. But,
That's why I had the engineer do it.
yeah,
I couldn't do it either, but.
because I have no questions. I think it's fine.
Jamie?
I'm just curious, you said historically, now, you own the bog, and then this was neighboring land that went through, it was owner unknown, was that?
It was not owner unknown,
No.
it was always land that I had purchased. We just cleared the title up.
Oh, you had to clear the title, that's why it went
Cleaned
through.
it up, yes.
Right, the Walker family owned it.
Correct.
I see, okay, thank you.
Gail?
So you're gonna get access from Woody Glen Road?
Mm-hmm. We have to go to the planning board for access, for a special permit for access over something other than your frontage. The frontage would be Oak Street,
Oak Street, yeah.
but you take your access off
The
of
little
Woody Glen.
barrier is up there that says private property, no trespassing.
Woody Glen is a public road.
No, I'm talking about off Oak Street.
That's, yes, that's,
Where you,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay. I have no questions, but I did walk through your blog in order to get over this property, and it's actually a decent piece of property.
I saw you.
You can see everybody from that other house.
That's where I live. I can see everything.
I know you can.
Okay, Woody Glen ends at the property line. It's not a road that goes off like an ancient way or something?
No, that's part of a whole subdivision.
Okay,
My first house was on Woody Glen Road, further down the hill.
okay.
And when we first built it, it was 2 full stories, and I looked at it, boy, is that huge. And the neighbor complained.
Under the state laws or regulations, can cranberry bogs, when they're abandoned, ever be built on?
5 years.
Or is there a
On the
prohibition?
on the bog part?
Yeah, on the bog part, the prior cranberry bog, can that ever be built on? I thought I had read.
I don't think it relates to this upland,
No.
because we're on upland.
No,
This
I
wasn't
no,
this-
understand that, but my
Okay,
question
this
is,
is
up
not-
there, the bog part, the overgrown bog, can that ever be built on? Or is there a state prohibition? I
I think the conservation people would be all over us.
thought I had
to
read
build on
somewhere that bogs, even when they're abandoned, can never be built on, but
I don't know the answer to
I've
that,
never
Mr. Chairman.
seen that, the actual law, I just saw a reference to that. Okay,
I don't think in my lifetime we would be able to build on that bog,
okay.
waiting
Fair
long
enough.
enough.
Tim,
I have no questions.
Dave,
No questions.
Joe?
So it's a modular home. It's super underrated in my opinion. And there's actually a piece of land like this off Herringbrook Road in Eastham. And I actually looked at buying it and building on it. Did not happen. But no, I have no questions. I think it's a reasonable request.
The only other question I have, can all the construction vehicles be parked on site? It looks like there's gonna be a fair amount of room on site. And this is sort of, you know, down a way, so I would be disinclined to put the construction time requirement on, but the condition that all the construction vehicles
Yeah.
be parked on site.
I don't know if they can get on that site, all those construction vehicles.
You don't think
because-
so?
no.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, it takes 3 days to put the house together. There's not gonna be a long construction period.
Okay. Well, it's up to the board. I don't feel strongly about it. I think we need one or the other condition, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Get them on the site.
Is there anyone out in the
Yeah,
public
You
that
can
would
put them
like
on the
to,
site.
would like to speak to this application? No, hearing no one?
No, I just had one, just out of, Attorney Crowe, just for my own educate. If the variance was an issue as well as the site shape, couldn't the lot, the area that's gonna be built upon be set to meet the 40,000 square feet and actually establish 2 lots there? Just, not that I'm looking at the condition of this, I just was wondering, I mean, then you have one non-buildable lot, and then,
I understand. If you've ever dealt with the land court, all right,
you don't wanna touch it,
you don't wanna touch it because that lot was established
okay?
by the engineering, by the petitioner and the engineering department at the land court. To then divide it further, you're talking another year or two of
Okay, just-
watching the paint dry and the grass grow at the land court. It
Well,
takes a
would it-
long time.
It wouldn't meet the definition of a lot under the bylaw, because they'd have to have 40,000 square feet of upland. So they can't, I
No.
don't think they can divide it and get another lot.
You don't need 40,000 square feet of upland, do you?
You do under the definition of lot.
Really? I thought it was just square
Some
foot.
difference of opinion about that, but that seems to be what the bylaws
Yeah,
on the
not
face
that
of it
it's
says.
Pertinent to this,
So that's the chairman's reading of it.
Yes.
Remember, we went through this a
Yes, that's
while
why I said
back.
there's
Yeah,
differences of opinion on that.
a couple of years ago.
But I think that you're right, that he needs the upland portion of the lot to the north to get to the 40,000 square feet.
Right,
okay.
right. Under the definition, they would need 100% of the minimum lot area as upland, which is 40,000 square feet.
So rather than have a debate about that,
Yeah,
it's easier to just
no, I
include it
understand,
all.
I understand.
But I understand, you're thinking, well, why don't you just cut it off at the pinch point?
So-
make
or-
that its
or
own
something
lot.
above it, right, yeah. Okay,
And then they could not really come in and argue hardship, because that would have been self-created, so we wouldn't give them a variance. They wouldn't be entitled to one. If they cut it off, split the lot.
but when we have cases that have wetlands on the land, do we make them define how many square feet are upland and in wetland?
No, because normally it's not an issue, because the wetlands are very small.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna move to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second from Al Donahue.
For the square footage, so.
Discussion.
So you need, okay.
Vote on the public, to close the public hearing. All in favor, voting members, aye.
Aye.
Public hearing's closed. I'll entertain a motion on the case.
Case number 2022-13, Aaron T. Gingras, through his agent, Attorney William Kroll, has been granted a variance with regard to the shape requirement of section 325-18. The application is pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich, 325-54. At MGL Chapter 48, Section 10. The property is located at 140 Oak Street, map 60, parcel R3 in RM zoning district. I move the board grant this variance, found the applicant meets the requirements of the bylaw. As proposed, the project will intensify one or more existing nonconformities, will.
No, you
excuse
gotta
me,
use
not
the one on,
the variance, yeah,
You gotta use the one on variance.
yeah.
Here, Al.
No, got the got the right page, I'm all set.
Variance.
I got it. Mr. Kroll threw me a curb.
I'm listening.
Board, the
As
board
soon as you
hereby-
said existing nonconformities.
Board hereby grants a variance having found that the applicant meets the requirements of the bylaw, MGL Section 10, Chapter A, 40A, as stated, whether it is a soil, the variance is granted. Board further finds the conditions are specific to this property and does not generally affect the entire district. And there will be no substantial detriment to the public good by the granting of this variance, and that is granting will not nullify or substantially degrade from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. All work shall be performed in accordance with the plans submitted with this application. Let's see. All construction vehicles are gonna be on the property. It is, the condition of this board, it is a condition of this approval that the violation of terms of the conditions of this variance may be enforced as a violation of the Harwich zoning bylaw and pursuant to MGL 48, Section 7, and the Harwich zoning bylaw, as these may be amended from time to time.
Which one of the first ones did you decide on?
Let's see, we figured to get all the vehicles on the property,
We can.
yeah.
Okay. And not
It's
any
not a
public-
congested area.
Okay. Only one clarification. It's the variance is not from the shape requirement, it's from the shape number requirement.
All right, shape number requirement.
Okay, with that clarification, I will second that motion. Any discussion by the board? And I will note that I believe because of the shape of the lot, it is unique. It's not generally in the district, and if we did not grant the variance, I believe the applicant would have a substantial hardship because the lot would be essentially unbuildable with no value. And I think that certainly meets the hardship requirement under Section 10 of the general law. So, and it meets the other requirements as Al stated. So, all in favor, the voting members of granting this variance? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, granted unanimously. Good luck with your project, Mr. Gingras.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, before you, a comment about the decisions. Who is going to write those decisions? Because I think that is up in the air, and I think that, if I may, I think that should be the town's obligation.
Alicia McKenna's gonna do it.
Fine,
She's gonna review the videotape.
excellent, thank you.
You're welcome, and she might be listening now, I'm not sure.
Thank you, Leisha. It was done for a while, for several years, where the town said the lawyers should do it. I don't think the lawyers should do it. It costs their clients more money if we do it, and I think eventually the town said, well, you know, these aren't as objective as we want the decisions to be. So I think it's better if somebody from the town writes the decisions. Thank you.
When, in my legal career, one of my tenets was always control the documents. He who controls the documents has them read
Right.
in their favor.
Good luck with your project. Thank you. Good luck.
You're welcome, Aaron. Take care.
Are you still working the bog, the back bog?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I gave up golf, so I'm not over there as often as I used to.
Yep, I do, enjoy it very much.
What's the price now?
Believe it or not, it came up a little bit, nowhere near as close to the cost of construction.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your time. and
Okay, Attorney Crowell.
See you, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will see you next month, perhaps.
I just wanted to ask you, Dave, did you ever get a response for the 40B training that you had?
Nothing.
Okay.
No,
I'll follow up on that.
yeah, no,
That was about a month ago.
I think we should.
Actually,
Because-
longer than that.
Al and I have been through a couple, but the other board members have not, so I
Yeah.
think it would be helpful.
Yeah, no, especially with that one. So,
Well, it's a big project.
it sure is.
Not as big, I had just sent the board members the article that was in, I think, Sunday's paper about the one in Hyannis, the 300 plus.
Golf course.
Yeah, the golf course.
Yeah. No, I know it.
All right, we can't
Not
adjourn
exactly
until
what
I,
I was
we still have the last.
Anyways, I'll follow up on that. Good night, guys.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good night, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let me see if I can find what's going on, since it appeared on the agenda. Oh, yes, look at my note, case 2022-00, we continued until March. So it should not have been on this
You know,
agenda, that was a mistake.
I happened to talk to some of the family over there, and nobody had indicated that they were gonna be here, no.
Yep, I didn't notice that, I didn't notice it was on, when I see it on there, I figure that's gospel.
Yeah, no
All
problem.
right, I just want to,
You're forgiven.
make a note for our secretary, Leisha, that case 2022-00, which shows on the agenda as continued from 1/26/22, was in fact not on tonight's agenda. It was printed on the agenda by mistake. That case will be heard in March at our next meeting, which I believe is March 30. So that's in error, but no harm, no foul. We'll just continue it again until March. Okay, and we have somebody still here. Come on up.
I just have a question. I don't know how to, do we have to hire an attorney to present a case here?
Well, come on over here so I can hear you, please, ma'am. Sorry. I'm hearing challenged.
I don't know how's the process to present a case here. So I was asking if do we need an attorney to present a case here, like a homeowner? It's about a accessory building in our property. We are in the water resource zone, and we have only 30,000 square feet, and they require 40,000 square feet to have an accessory apartment. We already have a bedroom and bathroom there that was approved in 2014. But we wanna try to see if there's any way we can do it like in an apartment, so we can rent it without having the square foot that we need.
Well, normally what you would do would be to apply for a building permit, with plans on what you want to do, and the building commissioner would, as they said in some of these cases, you get a denial letter, says you can't do it, and then it comes to us for a decision.
Yeah, it's just the construction, the bedroom and bathroom are already approved since 2014. We are in the process to upgrade the septic system because the tile failed a couple months ago. And it's gonna be an extra tank. And the construction is there itself. The only thing we will need is to put the stove there. But the rest is done and is approved.
Okay?
Yeah, so I will have to apply at the.
You can do that. The other way to do it is hire a lawyer to help you.
Yeah.
Like Attorney Crowell was just here. I mean, there are many lawyers.
Yeah, I want
But-
to.
You don't have to.
I would recommend,
An attorney.
Best case.
I would recommend you do that, frankly.
That's kind of complex. That's a
Yes.
change,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I think you'd
I
be
would recommend it, but.
well advised, and it probably would be cheaper in the long run for you,
Okay,
so.
okay.
Sorry, because we can't give advice,
I
because we
know.
sit on the case, and
Oh, okay.
But-
Yeah, no, I didn't know how to proceed like we need, but yeah, I will talk to Mr.
I recommend you do it that way.
Okay,
And hopefully we'll see you here. But maybe it'll get approved, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you won't have to come.
okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Good luck.
I'm sorry you had to sit through the whole meeting.
Oh, no, I didn't mind. I like to learn
Oh,
more.
okay, because you could, if I had known, we would have gotten you out of here earlier.
Oh, no, it's fine. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, good night. Let's see. One place, I just have my notes. Put 'em. I think the only other thing is the minutes of our last meeting. Did anyone have any comments on the minutes?
I didn't have any. It seemed fine.
No? All right, I will move to approve the minutes from our January 26, 22 meeting as written and submitted by Shayla Delaney, our secretary. Could I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Sure.
Second? Okay, discussion? No? All in favor of approving the minutes as written? Aye?
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. I'd just like to say thank you to Shayla for all of her hard work. I've said that to her, but
Yeah.
gonna miss her, but
Why the
she had
change?
another opportunity in the town and wanted to pursue it, so
Now,
that,
is she still in the office up in the buildings, or has she moved down to the clerk's office?
I don't know. I don't know what position she took. It's another town position,
Right.
that's all I know.
That's what she got. I just spoke with somebody today, and they had seen her just the other day up in the buildings office. I didn't know. what
She starts her new position today or tomorrow.
Oh,
Today,
okay.
I think, she started.
When I came in the building today, she came running out from downstairs somewhere, if that answers your question.
Well, yeah,
She was in an office
she's in the
downstairs.
clerk's department as an executive secretary. I believe that's the,
Okay, I didn't know what it was, but that's okay. And I sent around the thing, Alicia's covering as secretary tonight, and next month we'll see, they're gonna hire somebody apparently. So at some point, we will get a regularly assigned secretary again, which will be better for us, I think. Julie is gonna pursue getting some training. In the meantime, I'll send around some more 40B stuff. One of the things I've done is gone back and looked at our rules and regulations, which really set out the procedure of how we would hire peer review consultants if we need them. Whether we get an overall consultant to sort of manage all the technical and help us, I don't know, we'll see. I'll have to talk to the town manager after we get an application to decide. We probably will put in for one because the town doesn't have to pay for that.
that'd be great.
And I will, at that point, get an authorization from the town manager that we can go to outside counsel directly whenever we have questions during the 40B process. So I think we'll be okay. I don't think it'll be as intimidating as I thought. Now that I've taken the time to go through the regulations issued by the state and that other material I sent. There's another case I'm gonna send around which outlines very clearly the limited ability of the board to impose conditions on an applicant.
last one we did, I just drove through it today. The one in West Harwich.
Yes.
Is still being constructed.
Yeah, the habitat.
And the conditions we put on it, and David brought it up too, is that egress goes out on the 28th. And wanted to make sure they had the sight line was one of them. The other thing was there was a property owner to what would be the, I think, the east of it. And we had a condition that there would be bushes put in so that his property would not be impacted by it. Other than that, there wasn't anything else we could do with it.
Have they done that yet? Probably it's not the right
It's not-
time of the year.
It's not completed.
You're talking
No.
Murphy Road, right?
The bushes.
Yeah, the one right at,
You mean the Habitat?
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they got more vehicles down there you can shake a stick at.
Well, actually, one of them was mine. I volunteered.
there?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm there shingling.
I drove through it just,
I'm there once a week shingling.
there.
They have volunteers on, 2 days a week.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming along pretty well too.
I'm in the shingling department.
Looks decent. Good for you.
You can grab a couple bundles for under 100. Huh?
Oh, my God, it's getting expensive, but they're using grade Bs, not the As, You guys, you can toss this away if you like, but Chairman, if I might, in reading that 40B thing you sent out, I kept on finding myself going back and forth on all the abbreviations. So I finally actually just wrote them all down in one thing that I referred to. But feel free, guys, I'm gonna give this to you, but feel free to, I won't be offended, okay? But I had to,
No, I appreciate that.
after a while of going back and forth,
Nice.
just pass it forward.
There's just, yeah,
Do you ever consult with other towns that use?
I was having,
I definitely agree with it.
I was having issues remembering all the abbreviations, so I did that up.
Oh, this is helpful, thank you.
The last one we did was, and to answer your question, yes, there was an attorney here that, a lot of this is time sensitive.
Oh, yeah, you miss it by a day.
Yeah,
It's-
it's really, and he has a headache with these, because he's the man that has to keep track. The clerk judge keeps us a little online here, and Dave does a great job of keeping track of the time frame. And I think for most of us, if we get to be familiar with it, we can help him along too, because they're pretty consistent with these timeframes. You really have to
Basically
stay-
have 180 days unless the applicant agrees to extend it.
Yeah, but some of it's like 30 days for the one
Yeah.
thing, otherwise it's, we're,
Well,
okay.
a lot of the, if you went through, a lot of this stuff doesn't apply to us.
Oh, no, I.
We've got a
I-
very limited role. By the time the applicant shows up on our doorstep with approval from the subsidized agency and I forget the different agencies, the only thing we do is we decide if it complies or poses a health or safety issue for the residents or for the town. That's basically all we can do. Now, we can negotiate conditions, as we did with Habitat. And it depends on the developer, but from what Attorney Singer has already said, he's very easy to work with. So as long as our conditions are reasonable, the developer will probably go along with it. But one of the things we can't do is say 96 units, too dense. No. If 96 units is an issue for traffic or wastewater that will pose a risk, that's a different story. But that's where we need the other town departments and possibly peer review, because none of us are qualified to make those decisions. We can ask the questions, and the developer will come in with a traffic study, I'm sure, and an environmental study. They really have to. But then we'll have to get input from the town experts and possibly outside experts. But at that point, we'll be working with the police department, transportation department, whoever that we need to, the Department of Health, the environmental people. On wastewater is gonna be a big deal for 96 units or 94, whatever it is. Again, we don't have the expertise, but
Remember, we did a
the
lot.
town does.
We did a lot of listening.
we do a lot of listening, and a lot of the stuff that we would propose would be, we might want a school bus shelter, for example, for the kids to be out of the inclement weather and not fooling around in the parking lot with people coming to work. So we did that, not on the West Harwich one, because that was small, but we did one out on Main Street Extension, almost at the Dennis line, a much bigger one. And that was one of the conditions that I really wanted, because they're gonna have to be out on the more main road, a little shelter, so the kids could be out of the weather while they're waiting for the school bus, and not out on the street. So those are the kinds of things. I'd like this Hyannis story, if you will, because the environmental agency tried to put this forward as an environmental concern, but when you read the article, they didn't cost out their proposal. And I think the housing guy that said it's just another NIMBY, I think he was right.
Wait
And-
till you hear the NIMBYs. We like the idea.
Not in my backyard.
Oh, they love it.
You got it?
Yeah. Well,
Every
I was on
single
the-
one. No, they don't say not in my backyard. They say,
That's what
but
we.
not this
Not here,
project.
yeah.
Not, this is the wrong place for this project.
Yeah.
Well, where in town is the right place? There is no right
There is
place.
no right
Because
place.
another group will come out.
We got a lot of those. in
I
Madison.
think I've been through half a dozen or 7, whatever. Every single one of people will get up there and say, we love low-income housing. We
Right.
need more of it,
Yeah, we're not here.
but this one's no good.
There's gonna be more of it. I think this is the first that
Well,
we're all gonna be exposed to now, because this seems like it is the way it is being forced.
Well,
Yeah,
I
housing.
think long-term, the only way to deal with it is change the bylaws. But that's gonna be
Absolutely,
more
'cause-
uphill.
I know it's not part of our agenda tonight, but, someone's got to work the grocery stores and the services and Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, for people who you have to be making at least $30 an hour in order to afford to live on the Cape now. You know, and that's, this $15 an hour, you know, wages, it doesn't cut it. It was $17.25.
We need a lot more sheds with bathrooms.
No, but no, but seriously,
It's a real problem.
It's
You
30
really need professionals to work on the Cape now.
it's $30 an hour in order to live paycheck to paycheck. You're not going on any vacations.
Can't buy single-family homes. My neighbor just sold his. He's been retired, 1,400 square feet, dated, nothing to it. Sold it for $650, sight unseen, no inspection. Person lives in California, never even saw the house aside from pictures, and said, "Yeah, cash. Here you go." Okay.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
And the other issue with that is, and somebody sent the article around, was that when these people sell their places, many of them are already rented. So consequently, the current tenants have nowhere to go.
Oh, yeah.
I forget who sent that article out.
But Massachusetts is a rent-friendly state. If you're renting, you can not leave the house and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing they can do. My
Yeah.
dad does real estate. He just had to pay somebody 10 grand to get them out of the house after they sold it 8 months ago. It's crazy. But
Okay, with that, I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
So moved. Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:53 according to the official clock. So we can go off air, Mark. We are done. Thank you, sir. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Good seeing you all again.
Yeah. Good St. Patrick's Day, I guess. See
The
you.
the only thing I wanted to say, I go back to school this Tuesday coming up, and I do have a Wednesday night class. It's a capstone senior design project.
Well, that's important, so you have
Yeah,
to go to that.
well, so, you know, there's actually a little more leeway, because it's